30 years of hurt. It's get turning here. Hello, welcome to the Preacher Plays. Today the Preacher, that is me, is playing VRFC, patch 1.04. I'm back now. This is, if you got notifications before, it was because I did a stream, totally forgot that I had my microphone muted, and nobody could hear a word I was saying, so this is why there's a second stream out. Basically, this patch is meant to have improved movement, and I will explain that and demonstrate that now. So, basically, the movement is the same in terms of the move controllers, so you move them up and down, and you hold the move buttons in to run backwards. You hold one of them in to run to the side, and the other one in to move to the other side. So the left to go left, and the right to go right. You can still turn by putting your arms out in front of you and sort of swinging them left and right. So you can still smooth turn, and you can also click turn using the triangle button on the top, on the right move controller, and the square button on the left move controller. Hey, it's actually working now, in an 8-bit. It helps if you unmute things. So, what they've actually added, movement-wise, is they've actually added it so that you can move where your head is looking, like where your face is looking. So if I look towards the center spot and move my arms, I will head that way. If I look towards the ball, I move towards the ball. If I look all the way over there, I will run in that direction, and if I try and look behind me, I will run backwards. And all I'm doing is just swinging my arms forwards. So, this is a major improvement. It may not seem like it, but it's a major improvement because obviously one of the major things that you have to do when you're playing football is keep your eye on the ball. So in order to dribble, you can just look at the ball now, and you can keep yourself on target. Oh, I missed it. Let the ball go. It would help if I actually knew where the ball went. You kicked it away from me. See, like I'm controlling so much easier than it was before. So you can actually look away from the ball if you want to sort of like swing yourself around. Let's get this a bit further in there. Oh, that was terrible. You still have to use your smooth turning and your click turning, obviously. But this makes a massive difference just because I can... Oh, and you can still use the lock dribble. So like that's to... Like if I look over there, it'll lock it onto the ball. So you can still do all that, but it makes it so much better because you just basically keep your eye on the ball like you would do. And you can just run after it and turn. I mean, that's so much better movement. It really is. You know, you can move yourself away from the ball, come back around, knock it over. Helps if I got a bit closer to it, so I can actually kick the ball. Get yourself up the pitch. Have a long shot. And again. And again! Oh! This is so much better than it used to be. Like... To give you an example of how it used to be, you could be looking at the ball like that and your arrow might be slightly off and you'd run and you'd be like, oh, no, 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 and you'd like, I've run past it, and then you'd be click turning and you might go, oh shit, I've missed it again. And it was like you could only ever run in a straight line, or if you constantly had to turn like this, so you'd be, and you'd like kick it and you'd be like, oh, I've turned too far, oh, damn it, and you'd be doing this all the way up the pitch. So it was a very disjointed kind of movement that didn't really work very well, and it made playing the game very awkward and difficult. I'm not saying the game's not awkward and difficult anymore, because you still got to use your hands as feet, which is... It takes a bit of getting used to. But I'd say in terms of actually moving now and being able to dribble with the ball a lot better, it feels a lot cooler. God damn this keeper! It feels a lot cooler, it feels a lot smoother, it feels more natural now than it was before. You know, because you're just basically keeping your eye on the ball. Back heel it round. Use the left foot. There's still a bit of turning, obviously, that you're going to have to do, which is inevitable because you don't have 360 tracking. But this is way better than it was before. You know, so that's basically it. That's all they've really changed. It doesn't sound like much, but when you're actually playing it, it does make a big difference just to be able to move where your head's looking, essentially. Now, getting around to the review part of this, because I realised that I hadn't actually reviewed this game. I'd done an online playthrough and I did a first impressions, but I never reviewed the game. So if I just give you a quick opinions on this game, it's actually very well done for the first sort of virtual reality football game. It looks good, it's nice and sharp, you know. The atmosphere in this particular level is a little bit drab, and it could do with being in a stadium with the crowd chanting you on and things, but instead it's more of a street soccer or street football kind of setting, like 5-a-side. It does lack a little bit of the big sort of FIFA Pro Evolution Soccer kind of atmosphere because it's more downscaled. And that's mostly because it's online, it's 4v4 online, so it's up to 8 players. So you don't get that 11v11 feel anyway. But the way that the game actually plays, especially now after the patch, is actually pretty good. I quite like it. It's not perfect, as I said, it's got issues with turning and things, but they've improved that so much now that, you know, I could see myself playing this better. Nearly went in for a big kick. Yeah, so the sounds aren't too bad. It's okay. It's lacking a little bit of atmosphere. The graphics are good. The gameplay is actually quite fun. Excuse me. I apologize for that. Yeah, so I did play it online, and it was actually really, really fun. And it gave you a great sense of accomplishment when you actually scored a goal and worked together as a team, you know, to pass the ball backwards and forwards to each other, cross the ball in, get somebody else to do a shot. It worked really well, and it made you feel great, and made you feel like camaraderie with your teammate, which was excellent. The only problem that I have is at present there's no single player. There's training. You can do training, which is essentially like running in between cones and trying to pass the ball, but there's no offline bots or anything like that, which, according to Cherry Pop Games, they have said that they're working on a patch to implement, you know, a single player. So instead of me coming in here and just kicking the ball around like this, I'd actually be able to play a game. Now that's awesome, but obviously it's not implemented yet. We haven't seen it implemented yet, so we don't know how good the AI is going to be. Because if one thing FIFA and PES has shown you is that, you know, if you had poor, I was going to say enemy AI, but if you have poor teammate and poor opposing team AI, then it doesn't make for a very good football game. Because I think everyone would agree that earlier iterations of those games are not as good as the newer ones in terms of the AI and how the player movement is. So we have no idea how that's going to be, whether they're all going to act like headless chickens and all gather together and run after the ball or what. Hopefully Cherry Pop Games knows this and they're going to code it correctly, but we obviously have no evidence yet to suggest how it's going to be. So at the moment it's cross your fingers and hope that they do a really good job with the single player if you are not somebody that wants to play online. So for that reason, it's hard to recommend the game right now. And I know you're probably thinking, yeah, but you've got online, so what's the problem with that? Well, the problem with that is that online, community online is very, very small, as with most VR games. There just isn't that amount of players. There's not very many players. Like if I was to try and find a game now, I'll try and do it live here. We leave this. If I go to try and find a game, we probably will struggle. And if you do get in, you might only be against like one guy or something. So this is prime time UK time. So if I was ever going to find a game, it would be now. So let's try a quick match and see if it actually finds anybody. No, it's just me on my own. So it didn't even find anybody. You can try switching your regions to Asia or America, like the US, but you're probably going to find just as much luck. So this is a problem with the game, especially with it not having single player. It basically means that if I really fancy this playing this game tonight, there's a high chance right now that it's not going to happen for me because there's nobody. It's not finding any games or anything, you know. I'm waiting for other players to join before I can even have a game. So I just have to cross my fingers and hope that somebody shows up. So, you know, if they do come out with single player and the single player does, yeah, exactly, you know, and if they do come out with good single player, then I could maybe recommend the game for the price that they're asking, because it is well done, it is well made, and it's the best VR soccer game that there is, football game, that there is, because there is no others really, but it is very well implemented, and it looks good and everything. It's just, I think they may have screwed themselves a little bit by releasing the game without a single player, because I know it sounds good, like, hey, they're going to give us it in a free patch, and it's like, yeah, but you do realize that a lot of your player base has paid money for the game, bought the game, played it on release day against other people, found it probably kind of fun, but then tried to play it again like a week later and has not been able to find any games and has probably just ditched this game. Some people might have even deleted it off the hard drive. So your player base has just gone boom, right down straight away, whereas at least the single player would have kept people reminding that, hey, well, I've got a game here that it's, you know, I've got a football game that I can play. So when the, you know, when the single player is there, they could check the online every so often to see if there was a match, and if not, they just go, oh, I'll play offline. A bit like Sprint Vector. Sprint Vector's got a full single player mode. So if you want to go and play it online, if there's nobody there, you just go, oh, it's okay, I'll back out and play the single player. And you still feel like you got value for money because you're actually playing the game. Whereas right now, it's like, what, this was like 15 quid, I think? 15, 20 quid? I think it was 15, I think. And what can I do? I can, you know, go offline and I can run around an empty pitch, or I can do training. Or forever sit in the online lobbies and hope that you find somebody. You know, try a different region, try the US, and see whether I find anybody in the US. But this was prime time UK time to find a match, so I'll try it one more in the US and see if I actually find anybody. Unfortunately for the guy, if there is a guy, no, there isn't. I was going to say if there was a guy there, I was going to quit straight out anyway, but this is the US region, nobody around. So yeah, unfortunately the game is not really playable at all right now. It's more like a little demo of like, if somebody's online, or if the single player comes out, this is what it plays like. And yeah, so hard to recommend this game until the single player drops. When the single player drops, I'll do another video on it. I'll see whether it's actually up to scratch, whether the AI is any good, whether it plays any good, and then I might revise whether I'd recommend the game or not, depending on how well the single player turns out. But for right now, it's a good game, and it was good on the first couple of days when there was people playing it. Like, it is good when you actually get to play with people, but as of right now, not so much. So that was VRFC patch 1.024 and a quick review of the game since I didn't do it. And that was the Preacher Plays. So if you like the video, press like. If you want to subscribe, I'm not going to stop you. Feel free to press the subscribe button. Thanks very much, guys. I will catch you later. Goodbye. Woohoo!